at southernfm.com.au.
Pour yourself a coffee and pull up a seat. Join me, Lee Cummins, for Coffee Chat every Monday morning from 9 till 10 with a range of guests and a wide variety of music for you to enjoy your Monday morning coffee here on 88.3 Southern FM, Mondays 9 till 10.
I have the wonderful Sue Glasser, and Sue is a professional organiser and is joining us in the studio this morning to share how we can get organised over this silly season. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Lee. Thank you so much for having me.
You're more than welcome. I'm very excited to have you in the studio this morning so that we can find out more about what's happening in the world of organising and getting organised for Christmas.
Yep.
Because it's always a pretty hectic time of year from here on in, isn't it?
It is. And a lot of people plan to do a lot of things over this time of the year and don't get it all done, do they?
No.
Yeah.
And we tend to put that, we've got to get everything done by the 31st of December. So we put added pressure on ourselves as well.
We absolutely do. And I always say, really, if you see those big jobs, actually a big job is really just a lot of small jobs put together. And if you do little things, sections at a time, it's always the best way to deal with a big job and it doesn't feel so overwhelming.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, Sue, why would people want to use a professional organiser?
Well, basically, I think that feeling of overwhelm that I just spoke about before is often an issue because people just see this, big job in front of them and they don't know where to start. And we organise, we have professionals for most things in our lives and we can't know everything. And using somebody to help you organise your life is, it works really well. And it does help you because as a professional organiser, I know, systems and easy systems that can teach you to get organised and actually keep you organised. And I think maintaining it is the thing that you really want to be able to do.
That's exactly right because I know I get on a bit of a tangent and I think, right, I'm going to get organised and then I start a system and it doesn't quite work. So then I change and do another system and then so I've got lots of bits of systems and nothing really concrete.
Yeah.
So then you go into that overwhelm again.
Absolutely. So you just need to take control and actually have a system to use. And, we all spend a lot of money on, for example, cleaners. We spend a lot of money on a cleaner who comes in maybe once a week or twice a week and $25 an hour, what have you. And, to get an organiser in to do that is going to cost you a lot less and get your whole home organised for a lot less than you would pay for a cleaner, for example.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, if ever I had a webcam in my office, people would just cringe when they look at my office. And I know that organisers work throughout the whole household, not just an office, but I know my office is just disaster zone plus. But can anyone get organised, even someone like me that's not a good organised person?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the problems. People think they need to be born with an organising gene, or have that sort of, that in your blood and in your nature. But actually it's not true because to get organised is actually definitely a transferable skill. It's something you can learn and you just have to have the willingness to learn and also the willingness to change.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, so were you always organised?
No. Actually, I wasn't. And that's why I think maybe I understand probably more than most because I didn't come from a naturally organised person. Mm-hmm. And in fact, when I learned these systems, the paper flow and in 8-step systems, I only got organised because they were easy systems that I could follow. And it wasn't natural for me to just be organised. So, and I love the fact that I could learn to be like that, and my family loves it too because the house is sort of organised too, so they love it too.
I like the fact that you said that they were easy systems, and I think that's very critical when you're looking at being organised, particularly any part of the year, that it's easy to use and it's not cumbersome.
Absolutely, because people need to I feel everybody sort of needs a system, like a step system to learn anything. And we all do that, whether you're doing a degree at university or you're doing any kind of thing. You know, you learn a system which enables you to do something. And the same thing happens with organising. And if you have those easy systems, which can be maintained, which I think is important, because, you know, we all think, it's, you know, you don't want somebody to come in there, show you how to get organised, and then, you know, it just gets disorganised again. You know, you want to be able to keep it that way.
Keep it, yes, so that it's continual, and also that all the family members can be part of the organisational practice that you have in the household.
Yeah.
Because if it's too complicated, you're not going to have the littlies being able to be able to help with that process as well.
Yeah.
Or hubby or yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Or teenagers.
Oh, yeah. The teenagers are a whole different story, I always say, you know, but they're the difficult ones because, you know, they really have they use their wardrobe a lot, you know.
Their wardrobe.
Yeah, they love their wardrobe. And, you know, as the organising captain, as we call it, you know, the person who's doing the organising, you can't make everybody in your environment get organised, but by being organised yourself and having systems in place, it helps the rest of the family, you know, put things back where they found them.
Exactly. Yeah. So have you got any tips on getting organised and what projects people can do leading up to this holiday season?
Yeah, well, you know what? This is actually something that I came up with, you know, because I always find this time of the year, and I don't know if you're the same, November comes along and I start writing my list of things that I want to get done over my break. And I think most people do that because, you know, you have only got, most of us get like, you know, 2 or 3 weeks maybe at this time of the year when we're not working full time or, you know, we've got some time off. So I think it's important that, you know, we get things done. But because the break is so short and the list is so long, we never seem to get everything done.
Yes.
And then you feel guilty because you haven't, you know, done it. And when you're having fun, you think I should be cleaning and organising my projects. And when you're doing the project, you think, you know, I'm on leave. I should actually be having some fun. So my best tip is that you actually should set a list up and prioritise it and then take, say, the top 3 only and then make sure that those 3 get done. So that way, at least, you know, you're going to get some things done. And I'm saying don't forget about the ones, you know, that you wrote down, and you can do those some other time during the year. But focus on those 3 and set up a bit of a project plan. You know, and we actually have a fantastic project plan, which is actually a template that I'm happy for anybody to get from me. So they just need to contact me through my website, and I'll send that through to them. And you put that project plan in, set up your deadlines, you know, your beginning, your middle, and your end. Have a deadline for that end of that project and get it done. And just one other tip is try to do it at the beginning of your break. Get it over with, you know, so you can enjoy the rest of your time and not feel that guilt of having things to do, your projects to get finished, you know, before the end of your leave.
And also, I would assume that you'd have like the big project and just break it down into little steps that you can do.
Absolutely. Because what happens is, as I said before, that overwhelm of that big project may make you say, you know, say, for example, you're going to do your garage and you want to get that done for holidays. You know, if you look at it and walk in and it's a crazy mess, you think, well, I'm not going to do it. But if you start with one corner or one shelf or one cupboard in the garage, that's the way to go. So break it into those small bite-sized pieces that you can deal with, and you'll be able to get through to that project, definitely.
And is there any particular project that you think would be ideal for somebody to tackle over their Christmas holiday time?
Well, that actually, funny enough, the garage is actually one of them because most people kind of use their garage as a dumping ground. And during the year, it's like if you don't know where to put something, it goes into there. So that's always an excellent one to tackle. And then you can also look at something like a pantry purge where you can actually go into your pantry and get that sorted out over the holidays, you know, and start dealing with, you know, getting rid of all those old expired things that you have and sort those out. So those are the kinds of things and that I generally do at that time of the year. And of course, one of the most important ones is when it comes to paperwork is to do your archiving at the end of every year. And that's the best time to do it. Like, you don't need to do it all the way through the year, but at the end of the year is a perfect time, you know, to get rid of the older years and get some archiving done.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Go and buy some of those archiving boxes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And absolutely. And just, you know, you need to move that stuff out of your office because the idea of getting that paper flowing through, it's got to go in, through and out of your environment. And the out of the environment, archiving is a big part of that. And, you know, we have to keep certain things. So those things that we need to keep need to be archived, but they don't need to be in your office space where you need to work and, you know, do things that are current and that you need to refer to right then.
Yes, definitely. You're listening to Coffee Chat here on 88.3 Southern FM, and this morning I have a professional organiser in the studio with me, Sue Glasser, who's giving us some fantastic tips on how to get organised and have a pretty stress-free sort of season of holidays and spending time with the family, but still getting stuff done, which is most important.
Yeah.
Now, if there was one tip that everyone should know, Sue, what would it be?
It's such a difficult question, I have to say, Lee, because there are lots and lots of things that we all should know when we want to get organised. But the one thing that I think everybody should know is the one in and one out rule. And what I mean by that is that, we like to bring lots of stuff into our environment and we keep going out and buying stuff because it's, it's exciting and we want to buy new things all the time. But if you keep bringing things into your environment, that's what becomes clutter and that's what, becomes the problem. So the idea is the one in, one out rule is that if you bring something in, something needs to go out.
Yes.
And it really does work. So if you're coming home and you decided you go shopping and you decided, you want to buy some new beautiful towels that are on special at Target, that's fine. Bring them home. But then have a look at your laundry press or your linen cupboard and say, okay, let's get 2 out if we're bringing 2 in. And if you can get 4 out and bring 2 in, you're even better off. But the idea is 1 in, 1 out. So make sure that you can get stuff out of your environment as well.
And that, I would assume, would also be Christmas presents. When you're giving Christmas gifts, have a look and say, right, this is going to replace this, and start moving things through.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you're going to bring all of that new stuff into your environment over that time, all those beautiful gifts, and you need to then start gifting some of your stuff by getting it out of your environment and gift that to somebody. Yeah.
Yes.
So I always talk about that. Like people say they have a problem letting go of stuff, and I would say letting go can be a little bit of a struggle. You feel like you're kind of holding on to something. Actually, the word letting go is quite difficult. So that rather use the word release or gift, and it's great to gift things to people, especially at this time of the year, people who are less fortunate. And if you can, when you're doing these cleanups and you're doing your projects over this time of the year, it's perfect time to gift to others.
Yes. Yeah. And also giving to people like the Salvation Army or charities.
Charities.
Yes. Yeah. Because if you're replacing something that's been gifted to you and you're replacing something within your home, it's normally still of good quality. So you're not just getting rid of rubbish either.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Good idea. I think that's great. Now, what can you do to help people get organised? Because I know that I just sometimes walk into our house and think, where do I start? And that's always quite often the hardest step.
Yeah.
Is the starting.
It is. And I mean, the thing is, as I said before, you need some place to start and you need somebody to show you the way. And that's what professional organisers do. But I do workshops as well. So I do workshops for people so they can come and learn the basics of the system, which is great. So they sit in a fun environment and, I'm very casual. So I like people to talk and we ask questions and just basically learn the basics of the actual system. And then I do consultations as well. We actually go in somebody's home and we used to do about a 4-hour consultation because 4 hours is just enough time for both the client and myself to just, not to be exhausted, but actually get a job done and get it finished so that there's actually a real difference. And talking about that, I just want to say, when you're doing any project, remember to take before and after photos because there's nothing better than, seeing where you've come from and where you've got to because it's great to see that. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So that's what I do, consultations and workshops and people don't even have to wait till I've got an organised workshop because I'm happy to do workshops for people if there's 8 or more people anywhere. And I can do workshops for them, so it's great. Yeah.
Actually, that'd be a great get all the girls together with a glass of champagne and find out how to get organised. They can all have a competition in between.
Absolutely. It's really fun. In fact, on this Saturday, we've got an organising workshop with a high tea. So we're having a high tea so you can have lovely eats and things to do and learn at the same time. So it really works well. But it's great. Like a bunch of girls getting together in somebody's home, having a lovely tea or champagne, as you say, a nice glass of wine and just enjoying learning and having fun together.
Yes. Yeah. Now, Sue, we watch Foxtel sometimes and, you get the hoarders and you get, different shows that you can watch. What is one of the worst things that you've had to tackle as a professional organiser?
Okay. I always first and foremost, I'd like to say that as an organiser, I never like to judge people. It's not about judging. It's about helping.
Sure.
And so it doesn't matter what environment you go to. People often say, I'm so embarrassed, and ask them to send me photographs, before I do a job for them, whatever, and they feel sort of embarrassed. And I say, we're not here to judge you. We're just here to help you. But recently we've worked on Marianne and I, Marianne is the person who developed the systems and wrote the books, and basically we had this really huge job. It was a family who needed to move, and they needed to get their house ready for sale, and the house was just unbelievable. There was just so much stuff. And when we went through the house and they showed us, we looked and there was just things everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And at the end of the meeting, they said, we forgot to mention this room. And they opened the door. And basically it was a lounge dining room area, but it was so covered in stuff. Everything. I have to say stuff because there was so much. There was clothing. There was, furniture, old magazines, old books, everything. And the bottom line is that we had to tackle this house and get all of this clutter out and work with this family. And it was an incredible experience because the family themselves were having issues just because of the clutter, because clutter is not only in your environment, it gets into your head too, and it gets into your relationships. And we spent many an hour with them, and the wonderful thing is that the house is now up for sale. It looks absolutely beautiful. It's completely cleared out, and the clutter's gone. The relationship is better. The family are better. And for me, it's just been an amazing experience just to being able to help people, because that's what I love about this job, is helping people.
And you would, that's a great story, and you would get a lot of satisfaction from seeing where your clients start and then where they end up. To me, just to be able to see that complete shift would be pretty mind-blowing.
It is mind-blowing, and it's humbling. It's actually humbling for us, because I think you to see people, it's really tough for them, as we spoke about before, for them to actually release all that stuff. And the reason it's got there is because they haven't tackled it, and their job has become so huge and overwhelming. And it really is humbling to see how people actually can take control and they make that decision. They make that decision to change. And I think it was Einstein who said, if you keep doing what you've always done and you keep getting the same result, that's the definition of insanity. And people generally just, if you keep doing that and you keep bringing in that clutter and not doing anything about it, you're not going to get a better result. And then I see people actually make that big change, and it's fantastic. It really is.
And so I think sometimes, holding on to things is very much a mental sort of state. Do you find that some people really struggle with letting go of and releasing some of the things that they have around them? It's quite emotional for them?
Very much so. And it often is the emotional part that's making it so difficult, because they're holding on for different reasons. And it's often the sort of sentimental things that they were holding on to that they're finding really difficult to let go. I always like to say to people, even if you release something, it doesn't mean you've lost the memory. You're not letting the memory go. The memory will always stay in your heart. And, if you can take a photograph of something special and move it on to somebody else who can actually use it, and, they can enjoy it and it can be gifted to somebody, but you'll always have the memory inside. But it is tough for some people. I find there's certain things people find, like books, for example, is often a thing that people bring up and say, I can't, release those books. I've got so many, but I don't want to give them away, and I don't want, I want to keep them in my environment. Yeah, there we go. You're one of those.
My hand up.
Yeah, and a lot of people have that issue. But sometimes it's about, you can keep as much as you want as long as you've got room for it.
Yes.
And it's all about the storage. And we don't say don't go buy another cupboard so you can fit it in more books, but rather look at how much space you've got and limit yourself to the amount of space that you have in your environment. So if you've got a shelf of four shelves, then that's 4 shelves of books. Then the next thing, what will you do? Use my favorite tip: 1 in, 1 out. So next time you buy a book, then make sure that you release one out of your bookshelf and you can put that one back in there.
I think the best thing that was ever invented was Kindle and iBooks.
Yeah.
Because it all just fits on your electronic gadget, and you don't have the physical book anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big bookworm, so I have books everywhere. And as you were talking, I was just thinking of some of them that I can give away to a bookstall that has a charity.
Wonderful,
so,
wonderful.
Yes,
yeah.
So you got me thinking already. So that's
great.
well done.
Good. That's great.
So I think it would be just a fantastic job to have, of being able to really help people move out of that clutter, disorganisation, and I know it can just really, drain you, both your energy and your mental state, by living in that sort of area, and just to have people come away so happy.
It is. It's wonderful. As I said before, it's amazing to see, how they change. And this family I was speaking about, on top of everything else, she lost 14 kilos. So she was so happy.
I bet.
Yeah, so she thought it was the best thing ever, because besides everything else that's changed in her life, now she's feeling better about herself as well because she's lost weight. So, that's just a wonderful story, because that's a perfect example of how, you can see how people can really move out of that clutter and really, move into a new phase of their lives where they can actually feel organised. And being organised just means finding everything you need when you need it. And that's what it is. And I always say it's not about perfection. People think that, you need to have everything perfectly in place, and it's not about perfection. It's about finding things when you need it. That's being organised.
Yes.
Yeah.
So not only can you clear out the clutter, you can lose a few kilos.
There we go.
I like that sound.
Yep.
Because you never know what you're holding on to.
Exactly.
Now, if you would like to get yourself from overwhelmed to organised, there's some easy, manageable steps that Sue can work with you. And if you'd like further details, just visit Sue's website, which is www.paperclippo, paperclippo.com.au. And you'll be able to find out about all the up-and-coming events. There's tips as well as clips, and also you've got some articles that people can have a look at.
Yeah, blogs. That action plan I spoke about earlier about getting your projects done on the blogs as well, so that people can look that up.
Fantastic, so they can download. Mm-hmm. Now, Sue, you have got a giveaway, 2 giveaways for our people that are going to head on to the Coffee Chat website, and when your interview's uploaded, leave a comment of a problem that you have with your organisation, and Sue is going to pick somebody to win one of the organisation books. And you also have to pop onto Facebook and like your Facebook page, being?
It's PaperClip Professional Organisers.
PaperClip Professional Organisers. Yep. So you can win a prize by liking that, and the second way is to leave a comment on the Coffee Chat website. So, Sue, thank you. And just the name of the books?
It's Paper Flow is the name of the book, and the other book is From Stuffed to Sorted.
From Stuffed to Sorted.
Yeah, so Paper Flow deals with paper, which is every piece of paper that comes into your environment and how to get it in, through and out of your office. And From Stuffed to Sorted is home organising, and it's an 8-step process which teaches you how to deal with every room in your home.
Fantastic. So the 2 ways, pop onto Coffee Chat, and under the Sue Glasser interview, which will be loaded this week, you can leave your comment on what problem you need to tackle. And the second way is to like Sue's Facebook page, which is Paperclip Professional Organisers. Fantastic. And that website, paperclippo.com.au, and you can get in contact with Sue. Thank you, Sue. It was fantastic. You've got me motivated to get into my office today and